Hey, I want to say, give a shout out to everybody. Thank everybody for coming out from wherever you came out from, man. It's driving in LA, if you listen to my podcast. I will keep this family friendly because we're in a high-class establishment, that's Segundo Brewing Company. But driving in LA traffic is a complete pain in the neck. So for everybody that came out here and to say hi, get a swig of beer, I don't know how many people I owe beers, but there was a free beer on the ticket. Before you start doing the thank you also stuff, I want to thank you guys. And I've been getting a lot of questions about, Steve, why did you brew an IPA? And, you know, if y'all saw me through my career in the business of pro wrestling, I had a blast. And they were tossing me Budweisers, Bud Lights, Miller Lights, Coors Lights, Coors Lights. They tossed me all kinds of beers. And that's what I drank my whole life. And then a few years ago, I started getting into the craft beer movement and seeing what it was all about. And I started going through the different pale ales, and then I tried my first IPA, and it was just a little bit too much for me. And I went back to that pale ale, and it wasn't enough. And so then I went back to the IPA, and that's where I've been ever since for about past year and a half. And so I hooked up with Rob over here at Segundo Brewing, and just came down because I was a fan of Citra, and I was a fan of Mayberry IPA. And so we had some common ground, and sometimes when you sit down with a cat, you just kind of click, and we did. And we started talking about coming out with the beer together, and these guys are kicking ass, making great brews way before I came along. And so we sat down over a table of beers, and Rob is more technical than I am, because this is what he does for a living. He's been doing it for a long time. But we were able to communicate with each other, and he could understand where I'm coming from. And so we came up with the beer that you guys are drinking now. And I knew that when a lot of you people came in here, a lot of you are going to be light beer drinkers because that's what you drink, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I wanted you to know what you would expect when you drink this badass Broken Skull IPA. You know, to me, swig of beer, cheers, everybody. That's a damn good beer. Rob, come over here. Hey, give me a round of applause. This is Rob Price. So there it was, two guys sitting over a table of beer, and Rob had his notepad out. He's like a scientist. He'd been home brewing for about 8 or 9 years. He had a corporate job, and he decided to leave that and get into the beer brewing business to do something that, as he says, on his worst day, was a great day because he was doing what he loved to do. And so we started talking, and then Rob talked a little bit about the hops that we used, and you came up with a formula. And I'll never forget, when I first came to try out this beer, after a month of brewing, I was thinking, man, I'm going to put my name on this beer. It might take 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, I don't know how many times it's going to take. And so I took a sip of that beer, and I was like, very trepidatious. Trepidatious for you people that don't know what kind is nervous. I was like, I told her I keep a family friendly, but I said, that's a good effing beer. And so I let about 15 seconds go by to give it another swig to make sure and confirm my decision. And I said, once again, that's a good effing beer. I slept on it that night and gave Rob a call. I said, we go with that formula because I dig it the most. Rob, how did you come up with the formula and talk about the hops that we used?
So we sat around and drank beer for what, 3-4 hours one afternoon. We probably had research, right? So we probably tried 12 to 15 different beers, and I had one of my guys, Greg, with me, who's a Cicerone, and was really dialed into flavors and aromas and everything too. And basically just had Steve talk about the beer that he was trying at that time, and you know, what are you tasting, what are you smelling, what do you like, what do you not like, what are you getting from the beer? Kind of whittled down, you know, really what his palate was like and what he liked. And then at the end of the day, there was a couple beers on the table that you kind of narrowed it down to. One of them was Mayberry, and the other one was another beer. And we contrasted those, and what do you like about this, and what do you like about that one. And really what Steve liked was the aromatics of our Mayberry beer, you know, because it's right there, right in the forefront, but the Mayberry flavor goes away fairly quick. as opposed to the other beer we have on the table where we have a much more mid-palate flavor. So it kind of requires a different approach when you're brewing. So we basically tailored the beer to give more mid-palate flavor using some old school Cascade and Chinook hops, which are very appropriate for the West Coast style beers. And then Citra hops on the nose to give it that nice, bright, aromatic kind of flavor, and then aroma. And then just low bitterness on the finish to keep it nice and drinkable. Because we both kind of come from the same school on that, where I like a good firm bitterness in the beer, but I don't want to taste it 20 minutes later. So the bitterness doesn't clean on your palate too long. And then the funny thing about this, when Steve came to taste the beer, I was of course nervous to see how that was going to go. But I also told him before he tasted it, in all honesty, that I was so happy with the beer that whether or not this ended up being Broken Skull or we're going to go back to the drawing board, I was still going to produce this beer because I was that happy with it. So that's kind of the story behind that.
Hey, is the Devil's Path here today? Hey, maybe y'all get a chance. Hey, before I continue, man, if you get a little bit buzzed, don't drink and drive. I've been to this place many times, riding shotgun while my wife was driving. So, when you get a chance, there's also a lot of badass beers up here. Mayberry, which is one of the inspirations. Citra is my first beer that kind of fell in love with us. Hey, if you get a chance, if you dig some beers, try the Devil's Path. I highly recommend it. They're all badass beers, but I'm real partial to the Devil's Path. But obviously, man, I'm out here to push Broken Skull. But it's all under the same roof. It's all under the same family. I'm very proud to be in business with the Segundo Brewing Company. And all the people, I want to say thanks to everybody here because from top to bottom, they're not like employees, everybody's kind of family here. So me and my wife have been accepted, and so we're proud to be a part of the Segundo Brewing Company family. And thanks If you give me that Broken Skull IPA, give me a hell yeah.